Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going on a really rewarding journey to completely demystify Microsoft Word. As the world's most popular word processor, this piece of software is basically the absolute backbone of offices, schools, and homes all over the globe, right? Whether you're just typing up a super simple quick memo or you're formatting a massive 100-page thesis, Word has literally every single tool you're going to need to make your documents look incredibly polished and professional. So our main goal today is just to give you that rock-solid foundation so you can open this program up and really build your confidence right from the ground up.
To kick things off, I absolutely love this quote from our source material. It says, "Think of this as learning how to turn on the engine and steer before you learn how to drive on the highway." And if you're an absolute beginner, let that really reassure you. We're taking a super logical, step-by-step approach here. Because honestly, before we can go speeding down the highway, doing all that advanced formatting and editing, we just have to understand the absolute basics. Every single thing you will ever do in Word builds directly on top of these fundamental skills.
So here's our quick roadmap for today. Number 1, the Word startup screen. 2, navigating the main interface. 3, creating and opening documents. 4, exploring the backstage view. And finally, number 5, we'll wrap up with some absolutely crucial tips for beginners.
Okay, let's jump right into Section 1, the Word startup screen.
Now, it is totally normal to feel a little bit intimidated when you open up a brand new piece of software, but Word is actually designed to guide you. When you first launch the app, I want to reassure you that you aren't just thrown blindly onto some vast blank page with zero direction. Instead, you're greeted by this really helpful screen called the startup screen, and it gives you a crucial choice right out of the gate. On the one hand, you have the blank document. This is a totally empty page where you can start typing immediately, and honestly, it's the option you're going to use most of the time. But on the other hand, you have templates. These are pre-designed layouts for things like resumes, flyers, cover letters, you name it. The fonts, the colors, the layouts, they're all professionally set up for you. It's a massive shortcut that can literally save you hours of design work.
Moving right along to Section 2, navigating the main interface.
Okay, so once you make your choice on that startup screen, you are brought right into the main interface. Think of this next part as taking a deliberate tour of the steering wheel and dashboard you'll be using every single day. Knowing the proper names for these things is super vital because, well, we're going to refer to them constantly. The absolute biggest takeaway here is understanding what we call the ribbon. If you look right across the top of your window, you'll see it. The ribbon acts as your primary control panel for almost everything you'll do to format your work. Instead of hiding all these tools in endless, frustrating drop-down menus, the ribbon visually organizes them into specific tabs, and then within those tabs, groups of related commands.
Just to give you an idea of how intuitive this actually is, let's briefly run through some of those main tabs. The Home tab is your go-to for daily tasks. Think changing fonts, adjusting paragraph alignment, or throwing in some bullet points. Now, if you want to add something onto your page, like a picture or a table, you naturally just click over to the Insert tab. Makes sense, right? Layout is what controls your page margins and size, while Review is exactly where you'd head to run a spell check or check your grammar. It's all categorized incredibly logically based on exactly what you want to achieve.
Beyond that ribbon, there are just a few other interface elements you definitely should know about. Way up at the very top is the title bar, which simply shows your document's name. I also really highly recommend getting familiar with the Quick Access toolbar. It's usually right near the top too, and you can customize it with your absolute favorite shortcuts, like undo and redo. Then, of course, the largest element by far is the document area. That big white space right in the middle, that's your actual canvas, where all your typing happens. And finally, down at the very bottom, you've got the status bar, keeping you in the loop on things like your page number and your word count.
All right, Section 3, creating and opening documents.
So, now that we know where the steering wheel and the dashboard are, it's time to actually hit the gas. Understanding the layout is great and all, but this software is meant to be used. Let's walk through the fundamental chronological journey of creating a brand new document from scratch, getting some text on the page, and then safely parking it so it's never lost. First up, on that startup screen, you just click Blank Document. Second, look for the little blinking cursor at the top left of that white canvas that tells you exactly where your words are going to show up. Third, just start typing away. Fourth, and guys, this one is absolutely critical, click the Save icon. It looks like a little retro floppy disk, or you can just use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+S. And finally, securely park that file on your computer by choosing a specific folder and typing in a name for it.
Now this next part brilliantly illustrates how much time you can save if you just don't feel like starting from scratch. Using a template is incredibly easy. First, you search for whatever you need, say by typing the word resume right into the online template search bar. Second, you browse through the previews, find one that really catches your eye, and click it. Third, you hit Create. The document pops open, and for step 4, all you do is click on the bracketed placeholder text, like where it literally says your name, and just swap it out by typing your actual name. Finally, step 5, just save the document exactly like we did before. Easy, right?
Of course, you aren't always going to be starting fresh. A lot of the time, you just need to finish a project you already started. There are a few ways to pull this off, like digging through your computer's file explorer or using the Open menu. But I definitely want to remind you that using the Recent Documents list, which pops up right there on the left side of the startup screen, is absolutely the fastest way to jump right back into an unfinished project. No hunting through endless folders required.
Let's keep moving. Section 4, Exploring the Backstage View. Okay, let's look a little deeper under the hood. We've talked a ton about the canvas itself and the tools we use to put text onto that canvas. But what about the tools used to manage, protect, and share the document as a whole? For that, we really need to explore a dedicated area of the software. And what's fundamentally different about this space is that it's called the Backstage View. When you're working on your text and you go up to the ribbon and click the File tab, it actually takes you away from your text canvas entirely. It whisks you away to this dedicated management space that's just packed with behind-the-scenes commands that affect the entire file rather than just the words on the page.
This clear breakdown maps out exactly what you can accomplish while you're backstage. For instance, in the Info section, you can actually throw a password onto a sensitive document to protect it. The Save As command lets you save a completely new copy of your file or even change its format altogether. Export is exactly where you'd go if you ever want to turn your Word document into a fixed PDF file. And of course, the Backstage View is exactly where you'll find the Print command, so you can send your finished masterpiece over to your printer, complete with all those handy preview options.
And that brings us to Section 5, Crucial Tips for Beginners.
As we reach the end of our foundational journey today, let's lock in some truly great habits. The mechanics of typing and clicking are easy enough to pick up, but developing good habits from day one is what will literally prevent those super frustrating headaches down the road. It's how you build lasting confidence. So let me emphasize the absolute most important habit you can possibly form. Save early and save often. Seriously, use that Ctrl+S shortcut constantly so you never lose your progress. Secondly, give your files highly specific names. Naming a file Document 1 tells you absolutely nothing, but Monthly Report January? That ensures you never lose track of your hard work. Oh, and one more thing. If you are ever lost or unsure about what a button does on the ribbon, just hover your mouse pointer right over it without clicking. Word will automatically pop up a neat little tooltip explaining exactly what that tool does.
I really want to highlight this direct quote straight from the source material because honestly, it is the most empowering thing any beginner could ever hear. You cannot break anything by exploring. Seriously, do not be afraid of the software. Click all the different tabs, press all those random buttons on the ribbon just to see what happens to your text. If you make a weird mistake, hey, you can always just hit that undo button. Honestly, exploring and clicking around is exactly how you become a total power user.
So we have covered a lot today. The interface, the ribbon, saving time with templates, and poking around the Backstage View. I think the absolute best thing you can do right now is open up the software, start a totally blank document, type out your name, your job title, and today's date, and then save it as my_first_Word document. Just put these steps into practice until they feel like second nature, because I want to leave you with this final thought. If mastering these incredibly simple foundational steps can ultimately unlock your ability to design a stunning business flyer or write a brilliant 100-page thesis, what incredible ideas are you going to bring to life on your very next blank page? Keep learning, have fun exploring, and I'll catch you on the next